Sorry, I forgot to click
Yeah.
the recording. So
Okay. Yeah. Thanks. So I think the question is whether we're doing more than serving. At least the initial goal is to start with the serving benchmark, right? And LLMs first, but we can expand to other Gen AI models like image generation and probably multimodal serving as well. Do you have anything specific you would like to add, or a use case that you think wouldn't be satisfied with just having a serving benchmark?
I think serving makes sense. Yeah, like you said, we're seeing multi-model use case also in the test phase right now. So that would be something people would want to benchmark on. I like the name Gen AI serving benchmark. Yeah. So.
yeah, I'm wondering if we need to be like more future-proof, right? Rather than like renaming it later after we expand the scope. Maybe we should avoid using Gen AI in the name.
Yeah, I'm kind of in agreement there. I think overall we're kind of more looking at a workload that is relating. That is, I mean, it's just it's a latency sensitive workload that kind of has a unit which is tokens in our case. I don't know if we should do a name around that, but rather than focusing on LMs or Gen AI or specific different versions of inference workloads, I think that's kind of our general goal, is to have a tool that can measure performance in terms of token latency, I'd assume. And we can start with our current most common workload, which is obviously LMs and serving. But I think if we want a generalized name, it's just kind of, it's around inference, it's around latency. Just I don't know. I'm kind of biased because those first three ideas are at least partially based on what I said in the last meeting. But yeah.
Yeah, maybe a question to Chen, David, Samuel, like are any of the existing tools we developed, are they supporting non-serving benchmarking, or are they all focusing on serving?
We have done experiments with like with the vectorizing, whatever the term for that, it was brought up earlier. Models.
Yeah, embedding models.
Embedding, sorry, thank you. But generally, we focus on serving.
Yeah, our set is mostly large language model serving, as you can see. If we measure per token latency, that's even for language model. That's not even for broader Gen AI, because broader Gen AI, we still need to expand it to, for example, like per picture generation latency of something else, right? Or even per segment of time series generation latency. So
is there a general term for like a unit of those? Because I've not had a ton of experience with the image generation, but I think it still generates tokens, doesn't it? It's just a different form of tokens.
I will say embeddings. Definitely different concept, and there is no unified word for that yet. If you look at time series, you can say, okay, this segment of time series is a token, but behind the scene, it's just like probability for in an embedding space.
Yeah,
so go ahead, actually.
Yeah, we probably shouldn't focus on LLMs because certain runtimes are starting to support multimodal features. So something other than language models, right? Large models are okay, but maybe removing the language part.
Yeah, I will say like the immediate, that's more that's more likely to happen in like 2 or 3 years. We need to benchmark across all different types of Gen AI model. But our focus is on the serving part. It's a tool for benchmarking, and then I think nobody mentioned the the Kubernetes part, although we are a Kubernetes project.
Yeah. I briefly thought about having cube or something along those lines in there. I think it allows us to use some of the existing names out there as well if you prevent a cube to it, technically. But the only thing is, will like model server developers and others be put off if we have Kubernetes in the name? It might seem like more of a Kubernetes specific benchmark as opposed to a tool that can be used inside. They could
Interesting.
potentially be running their model
Yes.
server on a VM, just a Docker container. Yeah.
That's a good point. You remind me about the Kubernetes K8s GPT.
Yeah, hi, this is Yue. Thanks the invite from Chen. I do have one comment here. So I just wonder, like, do we want to be more specific? Like, do we want to cover like only the pure accelerators performance and also the end-to-end performance? Because I do think we may, if we want to do the full benchmarking, we may want to consider the end-to-end performance.
I think from the existing list of metrics we listed in the proposal I shared with you, we have the end-to-end performance metrics.
Right. So that's the case that can fit in for the Kubernetes case, right?
Yeah. It's just whether we want Kubernetes somewhere in the name, though it's a long name.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, it will be under Kubernetes 6, so there will be Kubernetes association with it anyways. So we can probably like remove the redundant Kubernetes wording.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Agree.
Okay, so Kubernetes we can strike off technically. So among these ones, any strong preference from anyone? Should we go with the inference or GenAI in the name?
GenAI perf? Is that a candidate on it?
GenAI perf is taken by the NVIDIA tool.
Okay.
And there is also something called GenAI bench. So yeah, those are taken. If you go with GenAI, it needs to be a little bit more descriptive.
If we go with GenAI, will that confuse people feeling like probably Linux to also come from NVIDIA because we have similar name?
Yeah, if it is close enough, I think, yeah, it can be confusing as well with the GenAI perf tool from NVIDIA.
Oh, AI serving perf. It's more.
Naming is
Yeah.
hard.
Yeah, we have a lot of good ideas. Do we want to hold like a poll or something at this point? Maybe in the
Yeah.
Slack chat so that we're not blocked on this for the rest of the meeting.
Yeah. I think
maybe you can ask in the channel too, right?
Yeah, exactly.
sounds good. I can create a poll. But these choices make sense. Anything anyone would like to strike out?
There's also foundation model, right? FM perf.
FM perf.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
AWS has something called FM bench.
You can keep FM perf. This Gen AI matrix is something the cloud model gives me because they think the matrix sounds like matrix to collect matrix photos.
That
Okay.
sounds like a
Got it.
report or something, rather than like a tooling.
Tooling. Yeah.
Oh, that's true. That's true. So anything with bench actually has a tool meaning, right?
Yeah. Anything with the perf or bench probably covers the tooling part.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, Gen AI bench is also taken.
They don't have trademark though. So
They probably don't. Yeah. So it can probably become a more popular project than that eventually.
Oh, let's just do like a more fundamental serve bench.
Or probably like the perf bench, like the FM perf bench.
Yeah. Okay, I think we got enough ideas. we can have the poll or asking the channel.
Okay.
I want to
We
get rid
have
of the neural serve bench because that sounds like a neurosurgeon to me.
yeah.
You know the new company Neural Magic?
Neural. Yeah. Maybe neural makes it more neural networks, but
Neural networks. Oh, NN neural network.
That's
NN.
too old term, right?
Yeah, that's very old fashioned.
yeah. Okay. FM perf, since we have the existing tool, is there any issues with that if we take up the same name? Just
No,
wanted to check. So
no problem. The same name would be fantastic. So foundation models, FM means foundation models, right? And that's
yeah.
also an old school term already. But if you like it, we would love to use the same one.
Yeah. I was asking more about we need to strike out before we add the poll, or if it is okay to have. So yeah, since the naming can take, I think it makes sense. I think the FM perf bench is probably a little redundant,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah.
I feel perf bench makes a little more sense because with foundation models, benchmarks could also be evaluations. So this is specifically performance benchmarking, right? Not evaluation of the model itself, how it performs on.
I see.
Agree.
Agree. So perf means performance. Okay.
Yeah.
What about LM perf?
LLM perf is taken. by any scale. Okay, I think we have a good list. I can start a poll with this in the Slack channel and can take it from there.
Yeah, and ask if other people have better ideas.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah, we can create a thread there. People can respond with their own names. Sounds good. I think can move on to the next topic, energy measurement on accelerator. You're muted.
Yeah, you're on mute.
Oh, thanks. So basically for this part, I think we have done some of the energy measurements for our internal FM perf. So that's the reason like we are asking here, do we also want to include the energy measurements for GPU with other type of accelerator in the benchmarking tool that we are proposing?
I think this we can include. We have called out accelerator level metrics here. Is the power usage from DCGM enough for this?
Yeah, I think that should be okay. Another question is like how do we want to report those energy numbers? Basically, want to see like the energy spent for the total runtime, or it's like the energy spent per token, or etc.
So it's like I think initially we got that because we want to understand the per token efficiency, like
Yeah,
per
right.
token energy efficiency. That's something like maybe a concern to accelerator vendors, but not necessary for the serving engine itself. But if you think you can also utilize this someday to internally benchmark across accelerators energy efficiency, that's very useful. But I will say like definitely not. This is not something we would like to release the data publicly across vendors.
Yeah, so do you mean that so for the energy matrix, like we only show like what is the average power, what consumption during the runtime? Is that what we are targeting for?
Yeah, that's what I think internally we implemented, right? So I'm just explaining to you and Ashok that definitely we don't want to build a leaderboard based on that for vendors, but it's something I feel like additional to have. Might add additional values to the tool itself because internally, different companies may have that motivation.
Okay, that makes sense. And in terms of aggregation, I think we have multiple options, right? At least with the latency metrics, we are going to do percentiles, P50, P90, and all that. So we could technically do that kind of aggregation as well for the energy usage during the run, and maybe produce percentiles if something like that will help.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I think it's just more like we can report it, but we just don't put it in the leaderboard, right?
Yeah.
And if it requires like additional integrations of other metrics such as DCGM or Kepler, we can make it optional in the code. So it's not a must report metrics, but it's an optional metrics to report if the environment has that integration.
Yeah, that makes sense. We might want to, from Google's perspective, we might want to run some of these benchmarks on TPUs as well. So what it reports might be different. So keeping it optional makes sense.
Will your site be interested in contributing that integration part, or you think that would be your internal stuff?
Which one? You mean the metrics for TPUs?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we would be interested in contributing that. There is a decent enough usage outside of Google, the TPUs as well, where other companies are starting to serve with that. So it would make sense to include TPU level metrics here as well.
Great.
Cool. We have a couple of minutes. Can do the last topic. KubeCon EU submission. I think Samuel brought up last time around. EU, I'm not sure how many people are able to make it. For me, probably not. So yeah, if someone is interested, can let us know. I think Shem has a comment.
Yeah, I actually submit one with NVIDIA speaker. They will show something like their Gen AI perf and how to use those. And I will talk about how to use FM perf in that talk. Hopefully get enough publicity there, but not sure if it will be accepted. And
yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. My hope is that we can involve NVIDIA folks to contribute to our project as well. So eventually we can also support their server and their load tester. I think they have something called Gen AI Analyzer is their load tester, and they have a server called TensorRT, right?
Yep.
Yeah, do we know the authors behind NVIDIA Gen AI Perf?
I think someone commented on the benchmarking proposal. I'm assuming they are involved. Let me find the name here.
Yeah, it would be great if we can invite them to contribute as well.
Yeah, Nilesh, it looks like.
Oh, I think, yeah, I think they've contributed to KServe as well. I can reach out. And Eduardo and I will be submitting the working group serving session again, but we're not finalizing the speakers yet. Once it's accepted, we can discuss, and everyone can also contribute the content.
Okay.
Great.
Oh,
It
yeah,
seems we are right on time. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, before we drop, and I think I'll be canceling the meetings for next week. I guess no objections, right? Due to Thanksgiving.
Yeah, sounds good.
Sounds good.
Right. Yeah, thanks. Thank you, Aisha, for organizing this.
Yeah, thank you, everyone. See you all next time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.